Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Newport University. Today we're going to talk about Taji, the expansion.
So this is our views on the Taji expansion. A little bit about Taji as well. We have played both.
And it is a really good two-player games. Well, we play a lot of two players. There's some good and some bad, and we're going to talk about it shortly. So we're going to talk about the overview of the game first.
Yep, it's a designed two-player game. The core mechanics of the expansion are the same as the base Taji, and it does have a very interesting and dynamic mechanic. So you've got a grid of 25 cards that are set up, and then the outer ones, excluding these corners, the outer ones all have actions on them, and the inner ones have some goods cards where you get extra goods. And they have tribe cards where you spend goods to build up a collection of tribes. And that's where a lot of the points come from. And you go back and forward in a round, choosing one of the outer spaces to put one of your meeples on. And we go through that. And you're not allowed to pick opposite your opponent. You have to pick... you can pick opposite yourself, but you'll usually want to pick 3 separate spots. Like that, yep. And then you will have got 3 actions from where you've placed your meeples on the outside. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. And you also get to resolve the cards at the intersections of your workers. Yes. And then first player would resolve all of them, second player would resolve all of them, and you would go from there. And it's really about gaining goods and... collecting tribes.
Yeah, on your tableau. So you would have also then collect the tribe cards like this one and this one, and you got certain points. So
they're all worth points. They have powers. They
3x4 grid.
You make a 3x4 grid. You're trying to make sets of 4 matching or sets of 4 different. So it's always I think what I've always found with Taji, the base game, is I really like this action selection mechanic. It works incredibly well with 2 players. But then I never felt fully satisfied with what I was doing with the actions. I think it was building up I was getting these tribes and I was hoping that the right tribes would come out, and I wasn't really doing anything to block you terribly much. And I always found the points a little bit random.
So what does the expansion brings and how does it feel?
So what the expansion brings, it doesn't change the core mechanic. I'll just sort of pull these off the board. I think it introduces some new things that makes the game a bit more forgiving. Yeah. So there's So there's a new resource, which is water.
Water, yeah.
That's this one here. And water, it can be worth points at the end of the game, or it's another thing that you can trade. So you used to have to get the basic resources, salt, pepper, and dates, and trade them for gold or other things.
And we replace all of the tribe cards from the main game with the new one that incorporates water as resource requirements to build tribe on your tableau.
Yep.
In some of them.
Yep, so you can now trade water. You can also trade, I believe it's 2 water at any time for something else. So as a free action, which is part of where it gets more forgiving. There's a few action spaces that are balanced out. And then it also introduces the sand dunes. And the sand dunes, you can send someone to a sand dune instead of to an outer space. And this is a more powerful action. But then by only having 1 worker, 1 here and 2 there, you've only got 3 actions out here. So essentially, instead of having 5 normal powered actions here, you've got 3 normal and 1 powerful.
I do found that really useful, especially if that's the second player, and I usually am the one that has the last worker, because any of these action spots that I don't want to do, let's say this is the only spot left, and it's not really something that I want to get, and it's not something that I want to exchange. So instead, I'll just go there, and then they're usually pretty powerful.
Yep. Once again, I think this makes it very forgiving, or much more forgiving. It's almost like this is it's still a 2-player game, But putting this sort of thing out to the side is kind of like what I would expect out of a 4-player game being expanded to 5, where they
Right.
realize they need some extra action spaces. In this one, it's giving you more choices. And yeah, I think making the game a bit less tight.
However, it doesn't refresh the cards in the middle as much, because then you only flip and refresh and replace less than you would normally but then again, there's also action to try to dig in through the tribe cards, like this action. I mean, that's been changed, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can try to find the actual tribe cards that you need more. You can get tribe cards from the discard pile, if any. So I think that introduced that to balance it, the fact that it doesn't get refreshed
Yep.
as often.
Yep, and they've also brought a new game control piece.
Not the rubber.
Yep, and if you choose that spot, you will get an extra goods token out of it as well. So it turns this into essentially a double strength action.
So how do you feel this new expansion brings? I mean, I've already shared a little bit how sort of it feels. It still has got the nice mechanics that the base Taji has.
Yep.
Beside what you said before, it brings more options. Does that mean that it's less tight of a game?
I think it's definitely less tight. And I think whether you like this expansion or not is going to depend on whether you like a really tight 2-player game or something with a bit more freedom. I feel like in this one there's a lot more. It's a lot harder to really stop your opponent from doing something, and so it'll appeal to some. It won't appeal to others.
Okay. I do like, as I say again, I do like the sand dune. That's probably my favorite, because it's kind of like, it's sometimes hard to find what I want, and then I want to do this, and then it's got block. You can put it where your robber is. Can't put it across you.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have that sand dune option to. Obviously, that doesn't get refreshed every round as well. So only certain condition it gets refreshed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this corners is tighter. So instead of like any resources, you need to get certain
Specific
resources.
ones.
So I guess there are some that are tighter, and then these Fata Morganas also change. Rather than going to another space, it's only the space next to you,
Yeah, adjacent space.
adjacent space. Yeah. So is that it?
Yeah, I think for me the expansion doesn't build on the couple of things that I didn't like about the original Taji.
Right.
So I think I prefer the tighter base game overall.
So there you go. If you like more friendly, forgiving game expansion, if you like the tighter, maybe then stick with the base.
Yep.
So that's it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. So hopefully you find that useful to determine if you want to play or not, if this game's for you or not. As usual, you would help us by hitting that like button and subscribe to us if you haven't already done so, and hit the bell so you won't miss any of our videos, including live playthrough on the weekend. And also I am on Instagram a lot. You can follow me there as well. And that is it. Thanks for watching.
All right.